The cab driver knew that the ghosts of Japan were not confined to ancient graveyards and shadowy filled shrines. Any modern resident of the nation's capital could tell you the taxis of Tokyo are more haunted than any hearse, and his own route would regularly take him through the open gates of the spirit world. There was the Sendagaya Tunnel, which winds beneath the cemetery of the Shinjunin Temple, or the Shitagane Tunnel, which legend has it that screaming faces are silhouetted against the tunnel's pillars, and through which the Shinigami, the spirit of death itself, is said to pass. All of his fellow cabbies could tell stories of passengers who got on and then disappeared, or of catching a glimpse of a woman or child's face in the rear-view mirror. This is another story from a different cabbie, though. It was a stormy autumn night near Aoyama Cemetery, where he picked up a young girl drenched by the rain. It was dark, so he couldn't get a good look at her face, but she seemed sad, and he figured she had been visiting a recently deceased relative or friend. The address she gave was some distance away, and they drove in silence. A good cabbie never makes small talk when picking up someone from a cemetery. When they arrived at the address, the girl didn't get out, but whispered for him to wait a bit, while she stared out the window at the second-floor apartment. 10 minutes or so passed as she watched, never speaking, never crying, simply watching a solitary figure as he moved about the apartment. Suddenly, the girl asked to be taken to a new address. This one was back near the cemetery where he had picked her up in the first place. The rain was heavy and the driver focused on the road, leaving the poor girl to her thoughts. When he arrived at the new address, a modern house in a relatively good neighborhood, the cabbie opened the door and turned around to collect his fare. To his surprise, he found himself staring at an empty seat, and a deep puddle where the girl had been sitting moments before. His mouth open in astonishment, he just sat there, staring at the vacant seat, until a knocking on the window brought him from his delirium. The father of the house, seeing the taxi outside, had calmly walked out, bringing with him the exact change of the fare. He explained that the young girl had been his daughter, who died in a traffic accident some years before, and was buried in Aoyama Cemetery. From time to time, he said, she'd hail a cab, and after visiting her old boyfriend's apartment, asked to be driven home. The father thanked the driver for his troubles and sent him on his way. Or so they say. Now before extinguishing the final candle, a word of warning. Fear the dead, but most of all, respect them. In Japan, the dead can be dangerous, and make demands of the living. These demands must be met with the utmost care. It is said, to ignore tradition is foolhardy. To anger the dead by not providing for them tempts fate. To be in a place where others have died subjects you to forces beyond your control. Avoidance, care, ritual, respect, and tradition. These are your bywords. Keep this in mind as you stare into the candle's flame. Keep your mind clear and your soul calm, ready to face what is going to be revealed as the shadows surround you. Avoidance, care, ritual, and respect, and tradition. Now blow out your final candle